So I'm on holidays next week. I'm gonna do a mad dash to try and get as much as I can get done on this truck. Hopefully she'll be running and driving real soon. Took some figuring to get this door all back together, opening and closing like it should. Now I've just about got the window going up and down. Man, oh man, it's been a while since I took this thing apart. So after new pins in the hinges and a new striker, got the old original mechanism right here, but she closes real nice, opens just like a brand new truck. Pretty happy with that much of it anyway. Kind of laugh, my son's buddies aren't going to have a clue what this is when they first go for a ride in this truck. Now the main reason I'm doing this is because when I first started putting these back together, I couldn't remember nothing. So more than anything, I'm making this video for myself, because chances are if I ever do another one of these trucks, which is probably pretty likely, I'll probably tear the doors apart again and forget to take a bunch of pictures, so this will remind me how to put it back together. So the first thing I do is I put the winding mechanism in. That's just what I figured out to be the best way to go. Now the most important thing that you got to remember is, see if I can show you this, right about here, there's a channel inside the door that the one roller has to roll in. Tuck that into there and then line up those bolt holes and bolt it in. Then that part's done and you're gold. Then I install the outer door handle. If you can see through here, there's just 2 bolts that hold that on. That's super simple. I'm sure everybody would know that. Then the lock cylinder goes in, and I'm not sure if you can, yeah, I think you can see there. There's just a thing that slides behind there and holds that in place. Now me, being the hack electrician that I am, I just tapped it in with a pair of Kleins and a screwdriver, because that's what electricians do. Next is a latch mechanism. It's just held on with 3 Torx T30 screws. Super simple. There's only one way it can go in. What I learned is you make sure you leave all the little plastic clips in there, so you know which one goes where, and it makes it a heck of a lot easier to figure out which one of the linkage rods goes to what little lever in there. I put new door pins in there because the ones that were in there were just screwed, and right at the top they were worn right out because the door hinges were buggered too. So anyway, when I put those on, just to start from scratch, what I did is I centered it directly in the hole in the pillar, and it was pretty much perfect. It closed and clipped. I just ended up having to move both doors back in about maybe an 1/8 just to make sure the door and the side of the cab were flush here. Now I don't know if they're all like this, but if you can see with this clip, you basically have to put this piece in with the linkage rod attached, because if you look at that, this here, it's got to slide, it's got to swing out of the way to allow the linkage rod to come out, but it won't, because like you see, it just bounces up against there. So make sure you put this piece in with the linkage rod, or you'll be doing it like me and taking it out and doing it right the second or third time. So now when I put this in, I had to raise the window mechanism back up so that it made room for the linkage rod going that way. Big thing, kind of as soon as you get your window raised lower mechanism in, throw the handle on, because it's going to go up 2 or 3 times while you're screwing around doing this job. Another big thing too, when you're putting the door handle and the lock cylinder in there, make sure you get these 2 linkage rods down along the outside. or you might end up pulling them out and rejiggering them like I just did. Just something to think about. So as far as this outer window channel seal, you can see it's got this one and this one. These are two little locating pins, and where they go is they go right here and right up there. I'm pretty sure you can be able to see that. Now that locates this. It goes all the way down here, down into the bottom here, and then it goes all the way up and around, and it ends somewhere right about here where it meets up with the vent window. So that's the next piece we're going to put in. I have to say that if you can avoid using one of these offshore aftermarket doors, you definitely should. Now this isn't the only reason. There's been other little fitment problems, but when I put this in the factory door, it just about jumped in there on its own. And with this aftermarket door, I am having a hell of a time trying to get this window seal in there. Now if you're installing the newer style side view mirrors, make sure you install them as well. They've got that plate at the back that holds the attaching bolts. Now normally they're supposed to just be there and attached to the door. Both of these doors, they had been removed or were screwed up. So I had to install these, and if you don't do it before the side window glass goes in, you're pretty much screwed. So now that everything's in and the door mechanism is working, I guess I can install the side glass. Show you how that goes. Now, as you lower that down, basically what you got to do is slide it down and then slide those rollers into, I don't know if you're going to see this one out. So yeah, there you can see it. Slide these rollers into the tracks in the bottom of the door. And those rollers have to be in those tracks, and the back of the door has to be into the slider where we just put the new felt into, and then you're ready to put your next piece of door in. So for this next piece, you want to make sure that this bottom glass is as far back as possible and as far down as possible, and other than that, just sitting in the rollers, which my back isn't sitting in the roller, that's why it's sitting funky here right now. There we go. Should work a little better. You gotta put the back roller in first and then the front roller, just the way they're spaced. And it slides in there and works really well. I'm just super hoping nothing pops. Oh, I screwed that up too. Super hoping nothing pops up with this my off-brand door here and fitment issues that way. Here we go. See, what I noticed from that is the top of the glass was just in behind the lip of the door. So just keep an eye out for that. I get it slid back as far as possible so that it's in this back channel down at the bottom. And what I'm hoping is get this whole ordeal put together, roll the window up, and I'm hoping that's going to help me, with the window being there, that's going to help me tucking this this window welting into this less than ideal door that I got going here. But anyway, we'll see how things go. Now, if it's anything like the other side, this is not going to go smoothly. It just takes some figuring and some wiggling to get it in here. Now, when you do get this in, there's a long Phillips head screw that goes into here, through this, a hole right there, and there's just a 1/4-inch bolt that bolts in the bottom down through a hole right down here. Once you get it in there, it's completely obvious where that stuff goes. But I'm just going to try and remember how to slide this little sucker in here. There's all this other crap and corruption to get around, including the window bracket. But hopefully this is gonna work out. The glass is in the channel. Now I desperately don't want to bust anything here, so we'll just keep that going like this nice and easy. Oh, what's that? Oh, I see what's holding me up. The same thing happened last time. This little spot right here where the vent window bolts in, that just held up just a little bit on the outside now. Fortunately, this rubber covers a little bit, so if you do end up scratching the very edge of the paint here, it's not the end of the world. So there we go. As scary as that might have seemed, that's in. I'll find my screws and I'll show you that part of it. So there we go. That's this bolt that holds the bottom of that that track in the wing window holder. And up here, that's the screw that holds the top of it. That's the only things that hold this in place. Now, when I got that in there, I didn't show it on camera because I was cussing and swearing while I did it. But I had to mess around with it just a little bit up and down to get everything to line up. But once you get those two fasteners, the screw and the bolt in there, I went and tried the window, and the window rolled up just beautifully. Now I just want to mess with this this window welting along the outside, and I'll show you how hopefully easy it's going to be to click the cat whiskers or whatever you want to call them into this part of this track here. So if you see those little kind of oval shaped holes, that's where the clips for the cat whisker or the door seal or whatever your window seal, whatever you want to call that thing, that's where those end up. So I'll see if I can set you guys up on a tripod and clip them in without too much trouble. Fortunately, they're going to cover up all my shittiness and whatnot here that I caused by slobbing on a whole bunch of clear coat. So yeah, these little clips are going to ideally clip right down into that little oval hole in the door. Well, these fit pretty much the same as they did on the other doors. I got a little bit of work right at the back here. They're sitting a little bit high. But the other door was the same way. And honestly, for now, until I get a little bit less pissed off, I'm going to leave it as is. They're functional. They seal. And whatever it takes to make it good from here on in, but that's just the basics on how those seals go in. So now, as it stands, the outside of that door, the window rolls up and down, and everything seems to be pretty dang good. It'll take a little bit of tweaking and tuning, but something I've found with so much of this hot rodding and old vehicle type of stuff, just relax, step back from it, and eventually you'll get that whatever it takes and figure it out and make it happen. Well, there you go. I hope that benefits somebody at some point in the world. I know it's going to benefit me in the future. I love these old Dodge trucks, and I'm pretty dang sure this isn't going to be the last one that I go through in my life. So hope you got something out of that. Thanks for watching.